Welcome back, guys. We're here. We're going to continue on um, our hard mode plus save. We left off the live stream here. We were doing a good bit of scouting, and we've really opened up the map quite a bit. But honestly, I'm kind of in the mood to do some hauling, so I think that is the route we're going to take. So the Fleet Star should be in the garage. And we're going to need to find ourselves a mission to do. Or a task, more likely. Yep, there's the Fleet Star. We've unfortunately beat it up a little bit. But you'll have that. Trying to think, was there anything else we needed to change? We did unlock the new motor, so we'll put that in. We'll sell the old one. It does give you a little better durability and a little better power to weight. Doesn't really seem to cost much more fuel, so we're okay with that. Apparently we never sold those highway tires. Let's do that. Oh boy. Yeah, we're running the JAT mod, or DLC tires. That should do us okay. And we are going to go ahead and spring for that snorkel. I think we'll stick with the flatbed. I do like the sideboard bed quite a bit. But I'm not going to be doing any overloading on this playthrough. We're going to do this too legit to quit. Let's see, what's Pipe Dream need? I don't want to get into that right now. So let's do Wet Harvest. We need to get 2 bricks, 2 planks, and a metal beam over to the farm. And I happen to know where to acquire those. So we will start tracking that, but first we need to run over to town in the GMC, because some of the materials we are about to need are already in the world. They're on a flatbed. So we're going to throw a low saddle on this bad boy. Let's see if we've unlocked anything else. We'll go ahead and put a snorkel on it. We are going to keep this truck. So any upgrades that we've acquired, I'm going to go ahead and put on it. There's no reason not to. It does already have the top level engine in it, and if you flip through your stats, it does have the best fuel consumption and power to weight and everything, so we'll keep a hold of that, and let's get some decent tires on this thing. It won't fare well without them. I honestly can't remember what the difference between 1, 2, and 3 is. And I am far too lazy to go look. I think it has something to do with the weight of the tire, which does affect the traction, but we'll go with the 3s. I do like the visual texture. And I think we can put... that's worth $200 for sure. And then let's look at the paint jobs, because... ooh, yeah, there we go. Reminds me, Grandpa had a Kodiak. That right there is how I'll paint it. But he had several old Chevy trucks of large size, and that was the paint job on one of them. It was that classic two-tone blue. But the reason we have to go over here is to get the cargo off of the flatbed. It has to be attached to a truck because we're going to have to unpack that cargo. So we're going to grab that, and we might very well sell the trailer. I haven't decided. It's not a trailer I'll be using. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Honestly, this farm delivery could be done using a flatbed. You know what? I've never tried that. Let's do that. So we'll drive this up here. We'll get the trailer drug out somewhere a little more serviceable. It's a 4-slot trailer, I think. It might be a 5. And we'll take the service spare parts off because those need to go to a rock slide. Stop here and top up the fuel. But once we take off the service parts for the rock slide, we should have enough slots for sure. And one of them is going to be bricks to go do this. So maybe we'll do this with a flatbed trailer. Admittedly, in my past playthroughs, I've kind of stuck to one truck and just done it all with one truck. And there's merit to that. You know, you only have to make one truck decent. But I would like to try and use more trucks, and admittedly the GMC doesn't get a lot of use out of me. It's mostly a fuel tanker or a service bed truck that has the maintenance frame add-on on it. And it runs around fixing things when I've screwed up. But it is not a bad truck. I mean, I own the DLC to get the all-wheel drive. We could certainly go attempt that at some point. It is on a later map, and I have kind of said I want to do this 100% one map at a time, as best you can. There are, you know, some stages of contracts where you're going to have to venture into another map to finish up all the contracts on a given map. Now that was just dirty. Trying to think if there's a service trailer nearby, and there's not. So I guess we're going to have to drive on that flat for a minute. What was I saying? Something marginally not important. Oh, I'm not opposed to the idea of skipping around some regions here and there to obtain upgrades for something like this truck that I'm going to use a lot of. I would like to get the all-wheel drive for the twin steer that we're going to acquire later on as well. And those are both located in the same region. Neither one, as I understand it, are very easy to get to. I've never gone and gotten them, but I did take a peek on MapRunner to get a gander at what I was going to be getting myself into. Because it occurred to me that, you know, I'm for another save I'm on, I was going to need them also. And they don't look easy to get to. So we'll figure it out when we get there, I suppose. But for now, we'll just focus on getting some delivery work done and see where we end up here. I'd like to get some more money in the bank. Might clean up a few trailers today. Got a little bit of time today, so I would like to get a couple of episodes recorded up. I haven't really decided on a release schedule, whether that be like one a week, 2 a week, you know. I honestly haven't decided on it. So we got bricks, 3 service spare parts, and whatever that is in the middle. I can never remember. But this truck will do much better now that it's got some weight on it, and it didn't do bad on the way over here, to be honest. If I recall correctly, the locking differential for this truck is on this map. I don't remember all that well, because again, it's not a truck I use a ton. Woo. She does understeer just a touch there. I think we're a little light in the nose with all that cargo on there. So maybe this truck needs the 3-slot flatbed. Maybe that's what makes it a good trailer for this map. And we still haven't found our trailer store. I have noticed, unfortunately, I had to go in and edit my big multiplayer game that we've been running, because there's a bug with the one random trailer store per region rule set. And that is unfortunate, because it doesn't keep a consistent trailer store location. it seems to move it around. Now, I can go in and edit that. It's not that difficult to do in the text file. It's just a binary Boolean argument. You change it from like a 2 to a 1 or a 0 or something. But we'll wait and see. We'll give it a chance. I think part of the reason I was having trouble with the other world is because I was moving it between co-op and single player, not always launching it as a co-op. I've kind of stopped doing that anymore. If I'm going to fire that up and play without the other folks, I fire it up as a co-op anyways, just in private. And if they happen to be around, you know, they're more than welcome to join, but I'm trying to keep which mode I launch that save in consistent to see if that problem persists, but I've already gone in and edited the rule set to make that stop. I think I'm also going to turn off paying to move between regions. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for that save. I mean, we're already paying for fuel, we already are trying to manually load our cargo and things like that, so... And, you know, some of the guys we play with have oodles and oodles of money, so it's really just punishing half the players to have to pay to move regions, so I think I am going to turn that off. And I may very well go in and make trailers free, because they're already, oops, they're already not selling for great. I think I've got the sale set at 50% on that save. But, unfortunately, unless I, as the host, buy the trailers, they don't persist on the map. So whenever somebody else comes in, buys a trailer, and spends their money on it, when they leave the session, it disappears, and so does their trailer. Or their money, I think, goes back into their account. Not really sure. We need to fact check that. I assume probably place some tonight. Get somebody to test that by buying a cheap trailer, backing out, and coming back in, and checking their balance beforehand, that kind of thing. We'll do some science on it. And if it isn't giving them back the money, I'll be setting the trailers to free for that playthrough. Because there's no sense, you know, having them waste their money on trailers, or me spending all my money buying everyone else's trailers. Not that I mind, you know, something like a log trailer, we're all going to use that here and there. And we're going to need one every map. I think every map has log contracts. But, yeah, that's kind of the news. It's an unfortunate bug, though. I was really unhappy to find that. So I'm going to look through and see what else I can do about that. Unfortunately, I'm not sure in editing the text file, and I haven't been able to find anywhere else online as far as what options represent, because, you know, they don't in the config file, as they so often do, they don't write out explicitly what the option means. You know, default might be 0, all trucks are free might be 1, and then, you know, 5 to 10 per garage might be 2. But I can't find a listing anywhere of which arguments create which setting parameters. So I think my best bet is probably going to be to go in, delete one of the save games I don't care about, create a new one, changing the rule sets the way I want them, and then either going through and matching those up, or just outright copy-pasting that block of parameters into the save game file of the other game. So it's going to be a bit of a headache, unfortunately. But such is life, you know. I understand why they don't allow the rules to be changed once the game starts. I completely agree with that. But I would prefer it if the rules all worked as intended also. Is there a church here? There sure is. There's church music in the background. Huh. There are so many little odd and end audio things that I've missed because the surrounding audio effects have been turned off for some reason. I'm not sure what point in the past I did that. But I've missed a lot of ambience in the game because of it, I can tell you that. And me and this crane just have an ongoing battle of wits when it comes to operating it backwards. And it's entirely on me. It's not on the crane, because the fact is these controls don't change. They are consistent. It's just a matter of my brain not understanding. You know, left and right from this perspective now becomes right and left from this perspective, but we'll get there. So we're going to pack those in. We're not done, though. We are going to unload the rest of this stuff. I don't even know what this is. I just know that I don't need it for the mission there. Just set that right there. This one's the service spare parts, which we will eventually need for something, just not the wet harvest mission. There we go. So we're going to go open up the rock slide up north here. That's not what I meant to do. And then on our way back through, we will grab the bricks and then the other beams and load them onto this flatbed and run them down there. I should have put a crane on the GMC. I didn't think about it. But we will get that taken care of here in just a moment. Because once we run down to the farm, you know, we'll be right there anyways. We should go ahead and grab these tasks on our way. That is the one we're headed to. So we will start tracking on that. Oh, it only needed one service spare parts. And a metal beam. Can't haul all of that at once. Actually, I could. You know what? We'll just make 2 trips here. It's really not that far up the road, and all the faffing about to sort things is not really worth it at the moment. But we're going up here to clear the road. That should, I hope, open up the route to the trailer store also, with any luck. And I'm just accepting these as we bump into them. I haven't made it over here with the scout to get to that watchtower yet. We'll be doing that at some point, opening up the rest of the map. And we still have some scout missions to do. We started the kick and barrels one, ran low or out of fuel, and had to turn tail and run. So it would be very helpful to have either a scout fuel trailer or a roof rack. I would be quite happy with either option. This mission, or task rather, is an absolute pain. Especially at this point in the game, because you have to go down into the swamp and hunt down all these pumps, and they're just... it's not easy to do without some big old mud tires. So we will drop that there. I don't want to just get rid of these service spare parts. Like, I could delete them. It is an option, but they're kind of hard to come by on this map, and I would rather have them around because I can't remember what all uses them. But it would definitely be better to have them available for use. Yeah, that's what you have to crawl through for that drainage mission. And it's awful. I mean, you want some big balloon mud tires. The longest ones you can fathom. And preferably, you know, something like a P16, some big heavy mud runner that you can, you know, drive in there and drag your sorry ass out after you've screwed the pooch, but we're not there yet. So we're gonna sit these service spare parts right here in the corner. I know we need them for something, I just can't remember what or where. Making pretty good progress here. And then we will grab a metal beams. We'll be back for that, because we're definitely going to want the sideboard trailer. I'm going to want to be hauling that around behind me. fairly soon. Don't want them on the truck. We're too broke for that. Technically we're not. I could afford it. But, there's going to be plenty of needs to spend money on later, so I'm not going to be wasting it on loading cargo. Especially not with the cargo loading set at 6x. That was pretty clean. I ain't mad about that at all. I'm hoping my my audio over the game audio is a good balance. It looks okay. I've done some adjusting. I know the first episode, the game sound seemed really low to me when I watched it back. We'll see where we go. Like I said, I've got some time here. I'd like to get a next episode or two in the bank, as I haven't really determined what the release schedule is going to be. That's nice, though. Then if you get busy, and, you know, I am working overtime right now, so I don't have quite the consistency of home time I would like. It's fairly on the fly. In my line of work, you don't really know what you're signing up for until you've left the office in the morning, and then you usually know what your day is going to be like. It is still subject to change, though. But we'll get some of this stuff knocked out. I've been enjoying Alaska in other news. My multiplayer game, we're in Alaska right now, and I'd say we're probably about halfway through it. We've managed to unlock all of the maps. Alright, we are going to go ahead and drive up here. Waste a little bit of fuel and see if the trailer store is in fact up here. It could very well be on another map. That is altogether fascinating. Somebody is subscribing to me while I'm recording an episode. That's hilarious. I'm not streaming. I'm fairly certain of that. But now I have to question. I did click record, right? Yep, I sure did. I'm not live. Let's see. Where's the alert box? Turn that off on the recording anyways. Hopefully I remember to turn it back on the next time I start streaming. That would be rather unfortunate. Should be far enough up here. I feel like that's the trailer store, and I don't see the icon, but let's drive over there just to make sure. Yeah, it's not open. I'd see the zone marker, I believe. I would guess that means that we don't have a trailer store on the Michigan map at all. Which is a little unfortunate. But honestly, if it were on Smithville, that would not be the worst thing in the world. It's more central. You have to go through... You can get to everything from Smithville, but you have to go through something else to get to Smithville from... No, you don't. You'd have to go through something else to get here from everywhere else. So truthfully, if it's in Smithville, that's the best place for it. My luck, it'll be on Island Lakes down in the bog somewhere, and I'll have to really decide how bad I want to sell some trailers. But for now, we're going to go ahead and knock out, what was it, Wet Harvest? I really wish this thing would not default to whatever's next in the list. I wish it would just not have a mission until I go select another one, or let me like queue 2 or 3 up. But that's the way it's been for several years now. I don't expect it to change. This is not a new game. Though they do still regularly provide season updates, which is nice. It's nice to have a game like this where they're still producing a meaningful bit of content, keeping the game fresh. Especially in light of the fact that they've got other titles, you know, Mudrunner, Spin Tires, Roadcraft, and something else now. Can't remember what it was. They do seem to be putting out an awful lot of stuff, though. All kind of in this same vein as far as, you know, what the gameplay is like, which is fine by me. I very much enjoy this game. And it's basically a more complicated Mudrunner. I liked Mudrunner, but the only thing you could do in Mudrunner was haul logs, and it just didn't seem to take very long to complete the maps. I beat the game essentially in about 40 hours, whereas on Snowrunner you could spend, you know, 40 hours on a map if you want to. Single player, I probably will spend close to 20 or 30 just here on Black River, Michigan, you know, and there's, including all the DLC, there's 40 some odd maps, so there's plenty of content to be had here. Just gonna do a bit of shuffling here to get this loaded. And like I said, once we get the GMC back down to the shop, I will for sure put a crane on it. But we've got a German roadblock going here big time. Good thing everybody's at church. Nobody will need to use the road. Boy, that's a squeeze, isn't it? That crane's gonna bop something on its way out. Ah, maybe not. How about that? Well, I know I will need 2 service spare parts for the other rock slide, so we're gonna knock out 2 birds in 1 stone here. We're gonna throw these bricks on the flatbed for the farm. I'm surprised that crane's holding. Usually as you get a little long in the boom there, it starts losing its pivot power pretty rapidly. Just tighten that up. There we go. And you can't swing over the cab with this crane. It does only rotate like 240 degrees. There's a wedge over the cab it can't cross. But we will put these right in here, and those can be run up to the other road closure at a later time. They'll be ready to go. Good enough. Alright, now what we need are some steel beams. Let's see if I can just sneak right on back through there, and I sure can. Go over here, grab another load of beams, and throw them on the flatbed, and that will be wet harvest done and in the bank. I really should be working on tasks instead of contracts, but what are you gonna do? It's all good gameplay, right? Just grab a hold of these and drag them back as usual. Yeah, see how the boom dips low? Not just because it pulled the truck over either, like it actually works against the hydraulics there, because these are quite heavy. I do wish this crane had a better vertical reach off the truck, especially for stuff like these beams or the pipes, it's hard to get them oriented correctly on the truck bed without a lot of jaw jacking around between the winch and the crane and the boom height. It would just be easier if that crane had a little more verticality to it. But I think there is a crane on one of the German trucks that does seem to meet that criteria. We're a long way from that, though. We're a long way from a whole lot of things. So I know I have basically said I'm going to 100% each map one at a time, but I have given it some thought, and I'm not opposed to the idea of traveling regions to unlock trucks. There is a Hummer Scout in Alaska that's pretty straightforward and easy to get. There are a number of trucks here on Michigan that are pretty easy to get, as well as one in Alaska that's not terrible. It's a good truck too, it's the Royal. But my question would be, throw down in the comments if you think I should go get those trucks and make my life a little easier. I mean, it's not like breaking hard mode or anything. It's going to be difficult to pull them out with my current equipment, or I'm going to have to pay to recover them and then move them. So it's not at all a cheap operation. I mean, they're free to be found in the wild and repaired and that kind of thing. But I guess the question is, should I stay locked on Black River and not do anything else but Black River, or should I allow myself to go get some vehicles if I want to? Because I haven't decided. So I'll leave it up to you guys. Put your thoughts down in the comments, and we'll go with whatever you guys decide. There we go. That's all the stuff for wet harvest, so we're going to run that down to the farm. And hopefully I remember while I'm down there to put a loading crane on the GMC here. It's still not going to be super useful. Stuff like the steel beams, there's not really room in there to get the flatbed in, unhook it, and then sidle up next to it with the truck and the crane to get it loaded. But it certainly wouldn't be too bad to do down at like the lumber yard or the farm. I could load consumables pretty easy. So there's applications. Boy, that rain has come out of nowhere. Yeah, there's that wonderful engine power showing for us. I didn't even have to drop into low gear. And I'd say out of the loads I could be hauling, steel beams and 2 bricks is certainly not light. It is on the heavier side of things. I'll grant you that hill wasn't super steep, but I kind of figured I'd need low gear there, and I didn't. I actually don't hate this trailer. I've not really used it much. When I have hauled a semi and flatbed configuration in the game, I've usually used the short flatbed with the maintenance parts and fuel tank up front, or the long stepped flatbed, which that thing is borderline useless anywhere there's not roads, because it's a step deck trailer, so it sits, low to begin with. You're dragging belly with it all the time. I've actually got one in the multiplayer world right now, flipped upside down on a hill in the snow with a Scout fuel trailer and a cargo of spare parts, if I remember right. And honestly, it might just stay there. I haven't decided. I'm not even sure I could get up in there with a crane to lift it out if I wanted to. But we'll figure it out. It's in quite a spot, so it might just live there now. My fault for trying to go where I was going. I was decidedly trying to come down off of a mountain on what was pretty clearly a Scout trail with a semi and flatbed set up. Not my finest hour. Everybody wave to the poor drowned pickup truck that I won't be getting for some time. I just remembered we have a flat tire. That is something to be said when you can drive around that well with a flat tire on the steer axle and forget about it. Nothing says doing it in the mud quite like that. Luckily, I think there is a spare tire or two, and it will take two because we've doubled the repair cost for points. But I believe the service trailer at the garage has just enough tire in it to alleviate that problem. And we are going to leave this trailer parked here. We've ranked up. Rank 4. Not sure. It looks like that upgrades some things we can purchase for our trucks. Or opens them up, rather. But as I don't need that right now, we're going to leave that sit there. Now, we're not going to be... I see we've got a heavy fuel tanker to deliver. And that is the one at the fuel station over the hill there. But we're not going to be delivering any fuel tankers until we've appropriately lightened their loads, shall we say. Actually, one of the early missions for Steel River Township has us delivering a trailer, and I think we have enough. Oh yeah, we got enough. It might be the trip back in the GMC here might be with a fuel tanker on, which is unfortunate because you can't haul some trailers with the crane attached. I believe the fuel tanker is one of them. Oh no, we can't do that because we haven't found the trailer store yet. Ouch. Those hard rule limitations, man. They do get you. Alright, we'll throw a tire on this bad boy. I'm honestly pleasantly surprised at how well this handles with just those tires on there. That is quite pleasant. Oh. Oh, so it does only take one tire. It must really just be the repair points. There, we're back to full tilt there. Those repair points are going to get expensive. Honestly, I think for the trucks we recover, it might be cheapest just to drag them into a garage and go ahead and repair them there. So we can do the hydro saddle. I don't know that the loading crane really is worth it on this truck. I'm trying to think of how else I can load things, if not with a crane. I mean, I could have a dedicated crane truck. These are the only two trucks I have. We'll sleep on that for a minute. And I will be right back. I hear somebody at the door. Sorry about that, folks. Where were we? We were doing some deliveries. So there is another roadblock we need to get to. So we're going to head that way with our spare parts. What else needs to go up there? We need 2 bricks and a metal beam. That's 1 load up to the factory if we do it right. Fortunately, I've already put those spare parts on the trailer. I did not think that through. Let's look at tasks. Not doing that one. Can't do that one yet. Or that one. Could probably do that one. where is... That trailer's just sitting up here, I think, isn't it? Because that's the stuck trailer for the other mission. So where is this curtain side trailer? Saw one sitting somewhere. I think it's up this way. Up in here. So we'll think about that. We're not doing drainage right now. So let's get in the Fleet Star. Go try and find that curtain side. There's also a task around the corner here I haven't accepted yet. We'll go ahead and grab that. Missing machinery. Okay on fuel, sort of, kind of. I think that curtain side is up here by where the roadblock was. I think. Up there. Unless I'm just losing my marbles. That is also possible. And increasingly likely. No curtain side trailer there. Well, I guess if I'd have looked at the trucks and trailers, I'd have noticed that there was no curtain side trailer. Well, as my great Uncle Bob used to say, well, shit. I guess we go around and do the roadblock. We can swing by here and fuel up on our way through, so that's a good thing. I'm trying to think if there are any other tasks I haven't accepted. Other than the oddballs we haven't scouted out yet. There's one over here that we haven't accepted. It's a flatbed for a scout. That's a time trial. Yeah, I guess this is the most sensible thing to do. I wonder where that trailer is, though. I guess, to look around for it in our travels. Luckily, I'm less concerned about the fuel burn than I was. It does occur to me that, as a single player, there's more than adequate fuel on the map. I should not have to buy any for quite some time. There's plenty laying about. You just gotta keep it staged up where you need it, is the trick. And honestly, the game does that for you. I mean, you've got the gas station has that big semi-trailer tanker. A little further up the road, you've got that fuel tanker there that we're going to hit on the way through for this delivery here. And then you start with that one down near the garage that's pretty conveniently located. We'll grab this. Ooh. A little overzealous there. Twice. You know what? We're just going to do this. Much easier. Ah, it's for the farm in Smithville. We're not there yet. there anything else that can go down the direction we're going? The answer right now is no. Ah, you know what? It suddenly occurs to me. I know I'm in and out of the map a lot here, guys. Sometimes that's just the way Snowrunner works. The factory. What can I pick up at the factory? Oh, that's right. We don't know because we're playing on Hardmode rules. Next question. What all do we need? Well, bricks and metal beams. Metal beams are in town. Bricks are for sure the warehouse. That heavy fuel tanker needs to go up there, but not till it's empty, so... Through... Let's go on to Smithfield, or Smithfield... Whatever that place is. Done that one. Consumables, wood planks... Honestly, we can knock that one out pretty quickly. The trouble is, I need to get those spare parts up here. And it's never going to make more sense than right now, so we're just going to go do it. In fact, we're going to do that, and then we'll come back, we'll save some loading time. We'll swap this curtain-side trailer out for the one at the lumber mill on our way back through. Don't worry, I've got a plan here, sort of. It's all coming together. We're going to take this over and open up the road. We'll turn around, we'll drag this trailer back down towards the farm. At the farm, we'll load 2 consumables on the Fleet Star bed. And then on our way back towards the town supply center, we'll pick up the other curtain-side trailer with the 2 wooden planks in it. That will give us a fairly efficient path, complete a mission, and set us up to go run the run of steel beams and bricks up to the factory. And we'll also, by way of happy accident, here's that trailer we're going to pick up right over there on our way back through. By happy accident, will also remind me what can be picked up at the factory, because I can't remember. Past experience has told me it's best to drive up this hill rather than try to go up that road. So it does appear it's going to take all the tricks in the book here. It's the only problem with towing a trailer. It really does, even with, I think we've got the second engine in this truck, even with that, we're still kind of lacking on power in this truck. Not helped at all by the fact that we're towing a trailer, which is 2 extra wheels worth of friction, but no extra wheels worth of torque, with nothing on our own truck bed. That doesn't give an optimal outcome, per se. This area is kind of rough. But we're going across the bridge. We're going to hit that fuel tank right there. You can see it between the tree and the power line there. And then we'll go up and do the roadblock. There we go. Now we're getting it together. It really shouldn't take too long to knock out most of the missions on this map in general. Given that most of them are around that drilling site right there. I do need to figure out how I'm going to rob the fuel out of that heavy tanker trailer, because that's kind of a choke point right now. I guess I will have to put a fuel tanker on the GMC, since I can't currently purchase a trailer. Unfortunately, that means the GMC is going to be relatively useless until I can get a trailer. Because if I uninstall that tanker, I think the fuel goes with it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but also not willing to risk it. Now, since I don't need to fuel the trailer, we're going to leave it sit right here on the hill. And we'll just pop around the corner here to the gas station. Whoa. Chugging through the save. Fortunately, unlike repair, refueling doesn't require we be hooked up to the trailer. And I do need to remember to leave 10% of fuel in that trailer, which is a minimum of 53 gallons. Oh, shouldn't have done that. This poor truck. It's gonna have a hard life here in Michigan overall. It's gonna do the lion's share of the work, honestly. The twin steer is gonna be relatively useless to us when we get it. One, it's on the last map. Which, the more I think about it, the more I think we are going to venture out and get some trucks. Because it doesn't make a ton of sense to play the map with one hand tied behind my back. So I guess, in reality, the question you should answer in the comments is, should I change regions to chase trucks? I think I'm going to go ahead and give myself the freedom to not complete missions, but go hunt for vehicles and upgrades and any map within the region I'm in. But the question I'm going to put to you guys is, should I also allow myself to change regions for the purpose of hunting down trucks, as long as I'm not, working missions? Which is kind of a tricky thing, right? Because if you go to a region, there may be roads blocked. I mean, take the Pacific P16, for example. You can go down and get it. There is a path there. If you've got a good scout with a snorkel, you can make a river crossing, usually, and you can take the truck, the P16 truck, out exactly the way the scout came in. But in some instances, you're going to need to clear roadblocks. Oh, don't do that. No, 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 no. Well, that's unfortunate. Damn. Had to happen sometime, right? Let's see. That's not going to be fun to get to in the GMC, but it is, in fact, our only option. Well, we've changed from delivery to recovery. Never a great way to start the day. Where is the GMC? Why is it in storage? Did I put it in storage? Let's see. I hesitate to put this crane on anything. It is so top heavy. And the GMC is already kind of bouncy. Oh, I can't anyways. It's locked. I could put the fuel tank on there. If you ever wonder what effect the add-ons are going to have, watch the suspension. If I put something like the maintenance frame on, you see only the back really drops down, and it gets kind of light in the nose. But if you come down here and watch from a saddle high to the crane, you see the front kind of takes more of the weight. So I think we're going to go with a crane. It won't hurt to have two cranes on hand, and the extra weight it's going to be useless in terms of recovering the Fleet Star. But the extra weight will give us some better traction in this truck, which we're sorely going to need. Luckily, we can drive most of the way on the road that we opened up and kind of make our way from there. It'll also give us a chance to swing by the fuel tank here and top up the fuel in the GMC. That went pear-shaped in a hurry. Which is somewhat disappointing. I finally had a plan together. it was all coming together, and then it all went sideways. Ooh. Nope, that won't work. I mean, I'm going to have to come up behind it. I was going to take the road all the way. Well, I guess I could cut back through here. We'll try that. That's the lesser off-road of the two options I had in mind. And without so much as a differential lock, this truck's going to struggle. Luckily, I don't really need it to pull anything. If I can get it buried in the mud, so to speak, it'll winch the truck over. The Fleet Star is pretty easy to flip. Does leave me wanting to go down to Smithville and collect the White Western Star. It's a little wider and a little lower, and has all the same capability as the Fleet Star, except it's wider and a little lower. Which does mean it rides in the mud a little more, but honestly, the stability trade-off you get from that is worthwhile. It also is the one early game truck you can get that is a halfway decent crane hauler, because it's wider and lower. It's less apt to tip over with the crane on it. But we have to hit rank 6 before we can even buy the damn crane. So our early vehicle recoveries are going to be winch magic, I guess. What time is it? It's not the clock, that's the clock. 5:15, okay. Not 5:17, but only for another 30 seconds. Less than. So it's 24 hours and 90 minutes. Well, it had to happen sooner or later. I am the master of flipping trucks. I'm pretty good at flipping them over on their side. Less proficient at getting them unflipped. One would think that those two skills would be of equal skill level. But the fact is, it's much easier to accidentally flip a truck than it is to intentionally set one right side up again. But we'll do our best here. Kinda wishing I'd put the front bumper on this thing. Ordinarily, if you're playing with free repair rules, it's not a big deal, because you can kind of beat the visual body of the truck up and not worry too much about it. You can just repair. But in hard mode, the visual of the truck body takes quite a beating, even if you're not taking damage. So I do actually like to put like the good bumpers and stuff on. It does help minimize or at least slow down that visual damage, which bothers me. Enough that I do occasionally spend the money to fix it, but $2,500 to repair, you know, a couple dents in the wheel well? Not right now. Too broke right now. Well, with my new plan in mind, honestly, the easiest truck to acquire would be the P16. And having the P16 would allow me to get the white out. Would also allow me to go get the royal out of Alaska. But that part's up to you guys. I'm definitely going to take myself around the region and get the trucks. There's no reason to try and do, you know, a quarter of Michigan with only one truck or two trucks. It makes way more sense to me to go ahead and try to get the trucks Michigan has to offer and then run Michigan with those trucks. Whether or not I can go to Alaska and get the royal is up to you guys. And I know somebody's going to want me to go to Russia and unlock that truck. I'm not going to do it. One, I don't know where it's at. And I'm not going to look to get ahead. When I say move regions to get trucks and upgrades, I mean move regions to get trucks and upgrades I personally already know the location of. Like, I could hop into Alaska, drive up to where the royal is, probably without looking at the map, to be honest. But I can't even remember what the truck is that's in Russia that you can get. It's in Kola, I think. Where is it? Which one am I thinking of? It's in Tamir. I don't remember which map in Tamir, though. But the royal is in Northport, as is the Hummer. And those would be easy acquisitions, especially the Hummer. It's brain dead simple. I could go get it with the GMC. Now, if I tip over the GMC, I do have the money to recover it. That would not be ideal. It's not the best use of $5,000. So we're just going to take it nice and slow here. Probably going to have to winch myself back out of here. Oh, this is not ideal. This is going to be a hard sell. That's all straight uphill. It's not an easy way to grab this truck. If I drag it, I do chance it rolling further, which is going to really complicate cargo recovery. I think getting behind it and trying to pull a trailer first is probably the way to do this. Assuming I can do that without also tipping the GMC here. So we're just going to stay in low gear and keep it rolling here. Yeah, if I can drag it back, even just back here, I've got a fighting chance at getting it set up again. So let's drag it by the top corner on the back here. That'll at least put torque sort of in the right direction here. Wow. That's not helpful, is it? Oh yeah, that's very not helpful. Ooh. I might have to take a think about this. I might have to take a think. What are the options here? We can recover the Fleet Star to the garage, waste the gas to drive it back up here, and then use the Fleet Star with its more capable drive to flip the trailer and reload things. That would at least allow us to load the flatbed of the Fleet Star, which would give us way better traction. Strictly speaking, I don't need to recover that trailer. It'd be nice to have it around to sell. It would also be nice to have it laying around somewhere in case I need a trailer and it happens to be closer than the other one. But it doesn't have to go. It can stay right against that pine tree until a more convenient, more capable moment in time. That's one option. I could continue trying to work with the GMC. I could throw a bet on it and do some delivery missions in it. I could also come down with the Scout and see if I can get any better leverage with the Jeep. I doubt it. It's not going to have the engine power. Neither will the pickup truck if I go get it. There is a Chevy down on Smithville I could conceivably go get, but it's not going to fare much better. Especially not without spending money on tires and upgrades. I could get the white, but pulling that out, I won't be able to pull it with the GMC. I would have to go get the P16 to get that. And even if I have it, it's going to be hard to get to the P16 in the Jeep right now. I can't think of any other trucks I can use. There is the C70 up here, but I have no hope of pulling that thing out. Absolutely none whatsoever. Semi-viable option. I could take this flatbed. If I go get the Chevy pickup, and I could do deliveries on the flatbed. But I would have to follow the truck around with the GMC to load it. That's not ideal. Tell you what we're going to do, at least for the moment. We're going to swap into the Scout, and we're going to do some scouting while I continue to give this a think. Because I've kind of screwed the pooch here. That is a really awful place to turn over the Fleet Star in. Especially considering I don't have anything with real ability to pull it out right now. The Jeep doesn't have the power or the wheelbase. It's pretty short and squat. I've tipped over a Fleet Star with the Scout 800, but it was in borderline ideal circumstances to pull that off, not the current situation. So I guess, where are we going here? Let's get up on the road. Hell, we gotta drive by there anyways, so let's drive by here and give it a schoolboy try, I guess. There's no reason not to. Then we'll hit fuel. We'll go up and accept any missions up here. That's not a terrible road to travel, but I don't have a lot of motivation to do so. So we'll come back this way. Let's try putting that marker somewhere I'll actually hit it. Then we'll go up through town. And we'll go grab this watchtower. And then we'll move on up and get the Scout. It seems to be as reasonable a plan as any I can come up with right this minute. We need to be over there to get up the hill. And it is coming in on evening. So I'm not sure. We're at about an hour now. We'll be a little over time if I run all the way to the next day. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I think it's after the live stream, we're kind of out of sync. We didn't do a full 24 hours of game time the first episode, so we're going to make up the difference right here, right now. And we're just going to run until 9 a.m. game time, I think is going to be my benchmark. Try to do 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. every episode. Fortunately, a half hour should be enough time to knock out the rest of the scouting, depending on how long we spend down here goofing off with this Fleet Star. I'm really not expecting much. I'll tell you what a smart man would do. A smart man would just take this thing back to the garage and put the autonomous winch on it. because if I flip this now, I'm really having a bad day. Wow, we were so close to making that delivery too. I'll bet I could flip the trailer. I didn't think of that. Let's try that real quick. Nothing lost if I'm wrong. So we are past 180 degrees. That's bad. But we're going to drop that trailer. And let's see if the GMC can manage to pull just that trailer out. So the trailer had the cargo on it. I could set the trailer back up and then conceivably, maybe, get the fleet star back up. Not sure why I didn't think of that to start with. Oh, we can absolutely drag the trailer. Alright, that's a good start. I like where that's headed. Now, how much room have I got here? Plenty of room. Let's try grabbing onto that trailer at the front. Oh yeah. Yeah, baby, that's beautiful. Alright. Plan coming together here. Not quite the way I'd originally envisioned it, but it is coming together. Let's get the GMC turned around, get that trailer out of the way. Oh, hell, I guess I could winch it at this point. At least I could if I was still close enough. Gotta try not to get the GMC hung up down in here. This is not ideal terrain for it. Alright, let's try. Let's just pull this back a little ways, then we'll switch it to the back winch and see if we can kind of pull it off to the left of the truck here. We can just reach it. That was glorious. Oh, or we could just not reach it. What is happening? Attach winch. Back of the truck. Oh. It said I could reach. It lied to me. It's alright. We can baby step it. Now I should be able to reach it. I don't want to unnecessarily beat up the truck dragging the trailer into it either. Alright. Well, that gives us some hope here. I'm still not going to put a lot of faith that we can get that fleet star flipped over, but at the very least we could potentially recover the cargo and run it up here in the GMC now. Potentially. I think we'll grab onto the fleet star right there. Oh, she's wedged in there pretty good. See if I can jerk it without snapping the winch off. Oh, you've got to be shitting me. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, at this point, there's no reason not to recover one of them. There's zero, well, I'm not going to say zero, but there's little chance of getting either of those out with the available vehicles I have. So that's just going to have to be an expensive lesson, unfortunately. So now we're going to go, we'll load up that cargo, and go ahead and complete that mission. and flip the GMC while we're down there, because this truck should absolutely be able to flip the GMC. You know what? Let's take the shortcut. We're empty. There's no reason not to. This truck can handle it. Ah, that leaves me just a bit sour. That is the struggle of the early game, right there, is the limited number of trucks. I don't know that the crane would have been super helpful there, to be 100% honest, but just the fact that I only have 2 medium trucks, and you're not going to flip, most often you're not going to flip a medium truck with a scout vehicle. I've done it a handful of times, but like I said, under way better conditions than that. That's a really kind of a tight, awkward spot to try and do it in. I think we will approach this from the other side, just so that we're downhill of the GMC again. Cannot believe I flipped both these trucks down there. And you watched it happen. It's literally just the shape of the road right there, because I wasn't even really moving fast, and it just, whoopsie daisy, over we go. I haven't even looked to really get a feel for the damage on the Fleet Star. I mean, component wise, it looks like we've taken a small hit to the engine, which I believe happened earlier. I don't think that was related to the roll necessarily. How are we looking visually? Not terrible. I guess I can live with that. Don't get a lot of choice. And need to leave 10% of that is, what, 132 gallons? Oh, man. Well, I wouldn't be playing Snowrunner if I wasn't recovering a vehicle that I put in a unfortunate position. It's just the way I play the game. Not intentionally, mind you. I certainly didn't plan that, but best laid plans of mice and men, all that jazz. I don't remember, did I get the upgrade down here already? I must have, because it's off the map. And they do show, yep, yeah, they show. Okay. Yeah, that's one less thing to be concerned about. That's, if I remember right, that's the Snowrunner gearbox for the Scouts. Which I suppose we might as well put in. I think what I want to do is look at the Scouts and see if I have a roof rack available for any of them. After we do this delivery mission or two here. Because if we do, I will strip whichever, I'll strip the Jeep down and switch to whichever Scout I can best equip to go roam looking for other trucks. So I know where they are, it's just a matter of formulating a plan to get them out. The most straightforward plan is to just go direct to Drummond Island, get the Pacific, and just brute force drag them out. The twin steer's not stuck, it's just not overly capable of getting itself from where it's at to where I want it to be. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. Well, no. Now that I think about it, I don't think we can... we can get through Drummond without doing any contract work. It'll be a little more interesting, but it can be done. There's a couple of bridges out and roadblocks and rock slides, I think, on the mountain pass, but there are some shortcuts we can take. I'd have to look at it to see. Well, here we are at the fateful location. less than ideal. And that thing is clean upside down. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. I think I'm going to go for that front corner. I think that's our best chance at actually flipping this bad boy. And we're going to give it all the torque we can find. See, that's why you want to get the GMC stuck, not the Fleet Star, right there. Of the two, the Fleet Star is so much more capable. Now, let's get this bad boy out of the way. As it is in the way. Oh, there's cargo in the way. Can we drag the back around with the winch? That would work. It's a nice sturdy pine tree. Now don't go flipping again, you'll just embarrass yourself. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Honestly, it didn't look too much worse for the wear. And I think we are just going to leave that trailer here for the moment. We can drag it back out of here with the GMC when it leaves. Right now, we're just going to get our cargo back where it belongs and try to complete this delivery with some dignity. I don't super love the wiggle on that. Keep that crane as close to the truck as I can. Don't really want it swinging our center of balance out too far. There we go. Small mercies. Yeah, look at that hill there. Let's get a proper look at that. Yeah, it just falls right off there. Well, I guess we'll attempt to kind of take the high road. We'll go ahead and safety winch. That tree looks good. No, that's not where I wanted my safety winch. Is that the side? Yeah, that's the side. Okay. The trouble with the old safety winch is that sometimes you can't let the winch line out, which I've never quite understood. Can on the crane, why can't you do it on the truck? That would make it somewhat more utilitous in those situations. On the old Spider-Man winching technique here, swinging from tree to tree like George of the Jungle. There we go. Now we're making headway. Or at least not failing to make headway, which is the same thing, right? Yeah, I think on the list of things to do is going to be to figure a way to get the White Western Star unstuck and up here, because having another wide, heavy truck with all-wheel drive and differential lock is certainly something that would not go amiss. Well, what should have been profit was just paying for half of our tow bill. Let's see, we had a plan. And that plan was consumables and wooden planks. So we can follow the road now back down to the farm. Don't you love how I just completely changed gears there from scouting back to trucking? So we'll go back to the farm. We'll grab our consumables. Then we'll come up. We'll cut down the side road. We'll pick up our trailer. And then we will make a delivery in town. And that will be everything done for that mission except the fuel carrier. And they want that fuel trailer right there delivered. It still has an awful lot of fuel in it, so we're also going to take the GMC out of its muddy grave here. And we're going to take the crane off, we're going to put a fuel tanker on it, and drive it into town, and before we turn that trailer in, we're going to transfer 90% of the fuel over to GMC's tanker. So that is an easy win mission. I think I'd best like to go out on a high note. Or at least be staged up to open up on a high note, depending. What time have we got? 3 a.m. We should be able to get all this done by 9 a.m. I should hope. I guess I could drag that tanker with me. Yeah, I could do that. Well, I don't know. Is that worth it? I think it is. It'll be easier to take it on the road than it will be to take it this way and over the bridge. And since I'm driving that way in the GMC already, it's not a great loss. Technically, this is the longer route. Usually I take it across the bridge, but given the circumstances here, it's really no loss to just drag it back towards the garage with me. Other than the drag on the truck here. But the trip back to the garage should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, we're doing alright. It would do better with some weight on the tires there, but what are you gonna do? This isn't the worst way this could be going. Though it could be going better. Maybe. Yeah, that tree's not gonna hold. There's gotta be something on the other side that we can reach. Come on now. Give me a real tree. Telling me I can't reach that pine tree right there? I've got to be like within inches. Yeah, there we go. That's really the only mud hole I think I got to worry about, other than the one down towards the garage. On the bright side, this will mean I have less concern about fuel. On the downside, it means I won't be able to use that as a midway refueling point, and it is very handy for that. Oh, we need all-wheel drive bad. Or just the differential lock, which I'm reasonably certain is on this map. Just gotta find it. In fact, I think it's that one on the hill I was looking at a minute ago. Anything to add capability to your early trucks is not a bad way to go, because you've got such a limited number of them. And honestly, the twin steer isn't going to do us a ton of good. I may actually consider selling it. And that hurts a little bit for me to say out loud, but the bottom line is it's going to cost me $1,000 per piece of cargo to load the twin steer. It's just a long fixed flatbed, it's hard to drive, and it's only really advantageous if you're not paying to load your cargo. Or if you have so much money it no longer matters if you load your cargo. Which will be some time for us, and honestly, when that time comes, I'll probably just buy the truck back. But right now up front, it's not going to do us a lot of good. It'll cost us quite a bit to operate it. The all-wheel drive is in a difficult location to reach in Russia, similar to the all-wheel drive for this one. And I don't really want to have to follow it around with another truck to load it. So it really doesn't have a lot of utility. I mean, depending on the rules you're playing with, it's a great truck. I enjoy driving it. It's just, I don't know that in this particular instance if it's a truck worth keeping or if we'd be better off with the money. I don't even recall off the top of my head what it costs, but we'd get 10% of it back. And now that I've said 10% out loud, I don't think I'm going to sell it. That's a truck. I think it's like a $70,000 truck. It might be closer to 100, but even if it is, I'm not. That would be giving it up for 10 grand, and if I wanted it back, I'd have to pay 100 for it again. I don't think that's the way to go. $9,500. That's pretty rough. I was hoping to be much better off. So we'll uninstall the crane and the saddle. And we will put the fuel tank on. It's quite expensive, but I can pretty well completely empty that tanker into this because they're about the same size. And honestly, this may be the best use for this truck right now. Because that'll give it more than sufficient weight. It can still drag a trailer behind it. I know all that seemed rather silly, but it perfectly works out that this truck needed just the right amount of fuel to put exactly the 53 gallons I needed in that trailer. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this truck to drag that trailer back into town, because it is fairly useful to have fuel in town that I don't have to pay for. A little tanker train now. Look at that. And we don't really need fuel down here at the garage. We're kind of spoiled for fuel on this corner of the map, because we have the tanker we find over here by the farm, and then up at the gas station we've got 1,300 gallons in that big, heavy semi-trailer. Which I still have to figure out a way to rob. The short answer is I either need more trucks with more fuel tank attachments, which is not ideal, or I need to find the trailer store. So, honestly, my self-imposed rules are not working out super great all the time here, are they? They are leading to more inconvenience than I thought for sure. Yeah, she's handling much better now with the weight. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Which means it will be viable to drag trailers around with this thing at least. It won't be able to load its own cargo, but if I stage things up in town like I did with the flatbed, and that hitch towable flatbed with the ramps is still sitting up there in town. I suppose we could drag that around with this truck. Might make this our entry into Smithville. Could throw the Scout up on the flatbed roll with the ramps, and we'd already have ample fuel with us. There's not a ton of fuel on Smithville. There's some, just not a lot. There's a good bit on Drummond, and there's an absolute ton down on Island Lakes. So I will have no trouble taking a full tanker or two with me into Alaska when that time comes. And also, thinking about it, this first gas station up here by town is selling for 16 bucks a gallon. It's not a bad gig. In fact, we're going to stop on the way through and see what it would cost to fill one of these trailers. I don't intend to do so, but that'll give me a rough idea of what it would cost to fill up this trailer, or the tanker attachment that the truck's running also, because they're about the same capacity. And I shouldn't need to do that at any point near, but in the future I may. There's an awful lot of fuel on this map, or on this region, to swipe and take elsewhere. I know I've heard it can be much cheaper to take your fuel with you into Tamir than to pay the prices on the map. And that may not apply to me, because I've got the random price at each station rule set, so that may be less of a difficulty for once with the rule set I'm using, but I'm sure that will also work against me in other places. The highest gas price I've seen so far is right around $70 a gallon in our multiplayer, which is also using the random fuel price rule. And if I wanted to fill up the rear tank, okay, so less than $5 grand. That's not terrible. Oh no, that's for, oh, because that's all the money I have. So 10 grand, roughly, because that's buying half of it. Well, that's not quite what I was hoping for. Not terrible, though. I mean, honestly, 10 grand in fuel, it's an expense you can't get away from in this game. You have to have fuel to accomplish anything else. You can steal most of it. Same for your repair parts. You rarely actually have to pay for repair, as long as you're somewhat careful about your driving. You can generally keep your trucks in pretty good nick and keep up with the minor dents and dings using the service trailers that are scattered around. I can tell you right now, my big cost as far as trucks goes is going to be recoveries, because I'm real good at tipping them over. I do have at least 53 gallons of fuel in the trailer. It has 53 gallons exactly. Okay, we'll, I hate to let go of extra fuel, but I guess we will. Oh, yeah. Helps to, put fuel back in the truck from the big fuel tank to the GMC. The more efficient way to do that is to go back to the gas station and buy exactly 1 more gallon of gas. But I'm not that fussed about it. Why are we not accepting the mission here? I have to drive completely out of the box with both truck and trailer. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, did that steal my damn trailer? It didn't steal my fuel, but it sure did take my trailer. Well, that seems a bit daft. We'll just leave this staged up right here. And this will be our refuel point in town for free. It's as good a use as any for that truck at the moment. What time are we up to? 8 a.m. You know, we'll take 8 a.m. We're getting a little long in the tooth here. So we'll call that today's episode. And that's going to be episode 2. So don't forget, jump down in the comments, let me know. Should I go to other regions in search of trucks? Or should I tough it out with the trucks available in the regions I'm working? I'm definitely going to be going from map to map within a region. And getting the available trucks, so all the Michigan available trucks, I'm going to try and hunt those down, not necessarily 100%ing each map first. But I will, before leaving the region permanently, 100% the map. So we're not leaving Michigan. We may, depending on your guys' answer, we may side quest a little bit here and there to get trucks or necessary upgrades, but we'll see how it goes with the answers, and we'll check it in next time. Until then, thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out and subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.